If you're tired of letting summer fly by without making any real progress on your goals, this is your moment. I've just launched the Reinvention Rockstars series inside my Facebook group, Successful Working Women Rocking Reinvention. 6 expert women, 6 different focus areas, 3 months of high impact content, and 0 excuses. If you're ready to reinvent your life, career, or business, this is your all access pass, and it's completely free. If you worked with each one of us individually, that'd be over $30,000. So don't miss out and let another summer slip away. Join us now. You'll find the link in the show notes. Welcome to Rock Your Reinvention, where I help high-achieving career women like you get unstuck, make your corporate exit strategy, and successfully transition to your next chapter. Hi, I'm your host, Karen Freeland, a certified life coach and corporate exit strategist. Whether you want to start a business, become a speaker, or something else, I'm here to give you the tools and strategies to shift your mindset, build your confidence, and take bold actions so you can rock your reinvention. Ready? Let's go. Well, welcome back to the show. I am so excited for today's guest. We have Heather Yancey, who teaches women to think, fuel, and move their bodies so they age like a badass. And I mean, who doesn't want that? And she does this through her amazing podcast, The Badass Reset Club, which I've had the pleasure of being on, her speaking and her coaching programs to help you start taking charge of your health through the oh-so-fun stages of perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. So welcome to the show, Heather.
Oh, thank you, Karen. It's such a joy to be here with you today.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And I am personally in the perimenopause stages. And I can tell you there have been good days and bad days, and it's all over the place. So help us, because we're all a hot mess.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Well, let's dive in. Thank you so much.
Ahead.
And I just want to, before we even get going, this is such an amazing podcast. You bring such valuable information to people. And I want everybody, as soon as you're done listening, to go rate and review the show. I mean, help Karen out. This is such a good podcast. So Rock Your Reinvention, go get in there. And if you don't know how to do that, Google it. It's really easy to do. It's so easy to do.
Much. You are so kind.
Everybody deserves to listen to this one. So.
Thank you. You made my day. I needed to hear that. All right. Well, this is all about you today, though. So thank you. Now that you've done that review, tell us, what was the defining moment that got you to where you are today?
Wow. I think, like many women, I've had so many hats, or purses, we should say, right?
Right.
So many bags. There's been so many different things that I've done in my life. And I think that we all go through that. We go through this phase of, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do this. No, now I'm supposed to do this. Well, what do you really want to do? And for me, I knew that fitness for the last few decades has been really a passion. And I knew that in COVID, when we kind of all shut down, I don't want to work for anybody else. I don't want to do that again when we go back. I have enough knowledge to do my own thing. And, I'm of the age where we kind of waited for someone to give us the green light. We waited for somebody else's opinion to really matter, and screw that. I can say as a woman in my 50s, you definitely get the efforts. You definitely get to the stage of, now it's my turn to run the show. So it was a combination of the world stopping and then me just going, wait a minute, I don't need anybody else to tell me what to do. I can do this.
Yeah, I think COVID was so powerful for that, because I think one of the reasons that we're not able to really tune into those desires is because of how busy and how chaotic our schedules are. We're sort of just in this survival mode, right?
Absolutely.
You're burnout from your corporate job. Maybe you're in a season where you're raising kids. You've got all these things going on. Maybe you've got big things you're doing in the community, and you never actually have time to stop, reflect, gut check. And all of a sudden COVID we were immediately plummeted into 0 things on our calendar. It was oh, I actually have all this time now to reflect, things are not the way I actually want them to be. And so it was a huge awakening moment for so many of us.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
now we have to create those moments for ourselves because we can't expect another COVID or wait for another COVID or something, right? Like we have to be intuitive enough and smart enough to go, wait a second, I need to pause and give myself a gut check.
For sure. For sure. And I feel like we are getting to the point that we understand that we don't have to wait for somebody else to tell us what to do too.
Yeah.
And I hope that starts earlier for people, in my age bracket, it was a later in
Yeah.
life lesson. I hope that we can impart that on younger people. Like, you've got brains, you've got your guts, go trust them and go do the thing.
Yeah, it's so frustrating when I see my peers and they're still slugging it out in the corporate job. And it's like, I just want to shake them. And they're like, but you don't understand. I need money and I want this and I want that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it's not about that. But, I guess we all have to come to our awakening sometimes in our own time. And hopefully someone listening today, this is like the awakening they needed.
Absolutely. You've done it, and
Yeah,
you're teaching other people how to do it. I mean, we know it's possible, right?
totally. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
you hit on something earlier with kind of like the shoulds. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Which I think is something that we can all relate to. And I think with that, a lot of times comes fear, right? Fear of rejection, fear of what are other people going to think. So, what fears did you have as you were starting your business and how did you overcome them?
Ooh, that's easy.
Yeah.
my
Okay.
my
Tell us.
I knew exactly what to do. It was the tech. It was the tech of like, oh, okay, well, how do I take all these programs and put them online? And how do I do funnels? And how do I get all that set up? So I hired a coach. I mean,
Mhm.
why wait? There's so many people that can show us. There's so many role models that we can look up to and learn from. And then you can pass that on. That's part of the legacy. But for me, it was just the intricate little parts of it wasn't anything like, what if they don't like me? What if they don't buy? What if they don't, no, I was
Right.
fine in that respect. It was all the how to get that out there to the world.
Yeah.
So, and for me, I'm still learning, and tech's so much ever changing, evolving all the time that you can think you've mastered something and then you're like, well, crap, I don't know how to do that.
I mean, we were literally just talking before the
Yep.
show, right? And you were like, oh, you're using StreamYard? I kind of want to learn a little bit more about this platform, right? And then we had a whole discussion. So I also
Yeah.
think there's this piece of having those right people in your network who are going to help you and support you and give you the
Mhm.
information. They're not, oh, you got to pay your dues or I'm hiding information from you. It's
Nope.
like you want to see each other succeed.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And women, especially, and
Yeah.
midlife women, especially, they get it, and they want to empower you too.
Yeah, because we're not like, I think when I was in the beginning of my career, I was definitely one of those women, I hate to admit it, who was like, you got to pay your dues. Like, I worked my ass off to get here
Mm.
and I made my own way. Nobody makes their own way, but that's what I thought in my head. And I'm not going to share any of my stuff with anybody because, you might then take my job or you might come after me.
Yeah.
And now I think you're right, especially when you get to that midlife and you get the case of the efforts, you're just like, everybody can win. We just want to support each other.
We all have our Oprah moments.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally.
But Karen, do you feel like, do you
Yeah.
look back at younger Karen or in those stages and kind of like go, ugh, does it make
Oh,
you cringe at all?
all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even just like how devoted I was to my job and how much I gave them. I mean, I don't even know if I've ever shared this on the show before, but like I remember when I left my big tech company and I was my last day. My boss didn't even come up from Virginia to say goodbye or thank me for 9 years of service to this company. I dropped off all my tech, my laptop and everything to one of the executive assistants. And I looked up and nobody was like paying attention. And I was like, all right, so I guess this is it. I mean, there was no cake. There was no thing. There was nothing. And I just put my hand up and waved. And one of my employees turned around from her desk and was like, see you later. And I walked out backwards. And then I got to the elevator and I was just like, what have I been doing with my life? Like these people don't even care. And I gave them everything, it makes me sick to think about it now, but what are you going to do? At least I learned early.
Wow.
Early-ish. I mean, I was, 37, 38 when all
That's
that
still
was
early.
happening.
I can feel that. I can feel
Yeah.
that deep in the pit of my stomach.
Yeah. It's the worst.
Mm.
Yeah, but okay, so let's shift gears because I want to hear a little bit more about how you're helping your clients. And I
Okay.
really want to sort of unpack this idea of feeling good and comfortable in our skin again. And I think as we start to age, right, something happens both literally and figuratively where we start to not feel so great in our skin.
Mm,
So, like,
mm.
why the shift? What's going on? What can we do to start loving ourselves again?
That's pretty deep. It is somewhere around the age of 35 is when we start to have hormone fluctuations. And
Okay.
whether you're in your 30s and you're like, "Pff, I feel fine," there's still physiological things that are happening. And to no fault of our own. But, once we hit 40s, we've got these shifts. Like your estrogen and progesterone are fluctuating and declining. And what happens is like physically, we get less skin elasticity. Like we have changes in mood because of it. We don't have the same regulation with hydration anymore. Like there's so many really deep things that happen once those fluctuations start to happen. And when we think about like physically, yeah, we might look different, we might feel different, but the mood part was for me when I was in my 40s. That was the biggest one. Just the feeling of like meh, like things weren't exciting me the same. And I was like, well, crap, is this depression? What is this?
Mm.
But it really is something that we should talk about, that when you've got fluctuating hormones, that can happen. When we look at like physically changing too, we can see, we get like a reduction in collagen because we have lower estrogen levels. And that can make us look like, we just aged overnight. When you have those
Mhm.
moments, when you look at your phone and you're like, whoa, that's me. When the camera's turned around, we've all done
Yep.
it. I think we've all been, I don't know one friend who's looked and went, damn, when they see themselves, and so then there's other things like your cortisol and your insulin harder to regulate as we get into our 40s. And so we see things that are just like our sleep's affected, for
Mm.
many, many women. We might have weight gain. We might have more anxiety. We might have inflammation in the body. It's just these things that happen to us. They are not like necessarily bad things. It's just we need to understand this is normal. This is happening. And then what can we do about it? Right. Like when you
Yeah.
said literally and figuratively, like we've got to have a toolbox in order to take care of ourselves. And that goes beyond baths and books and going to get a massage. Like those are great self-care, but
Sure. Sure.
we need some more practical things of what we can add in. And I'm happy to dive down
Yeah.
that. But like if we look to of what's happening to us, we're losing muscle mass, not at a huge rate, but at enough that it's making a difference. We might see that like our midsection start to change. Most women that I work with, myself included, when I was in my 40s, I was like, what the hell is this? What is this pooch? What
Right.
I'm not pregnant. What is this? We just get some redistribution of weight, and that has to do with changing visceral fat from our hormones. So those things might happen. And then fairly commonly is like joint pain, frozen shoulder,
Mm.
plantar fasciitis, those types of things that come with the fluctuating hormones. Your body just feels different. So
Right.
I think that it's important to understand that this is not the time to like pick up more working out and eat less. That might have worked for us like in our 20s and 30s
Yes.
physically. And I also think that like we'll talk about things we can put in the toolbox for mental health too, but from a
Yep.
physical perspective, we want to really work on that muscle mass. So lifting weights is going to be so important. Like if you're in your
Mhm.
30s and you're not lifting weights yet, please learn how to do it and do it so that you can go through the change gracefully. Paying attention to how much protein you're getting, how much fiber you're getting, and then looking at like, how do we need to regulate our sleep? How is our sleep? How's our stress management? I never recommend that we try to get rid of stress, just manage it better. Get some better
Right.
tools for managing.
Some stress is good stress.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It lights the fire under your butt so you can get stuff done or keeps you safe. But we need to have this toolbox. And then the toolbox does not need to be, thinking like taking up half the garage. It's just a small toolbox. It's
Right.
little things that we can put in order. But I know that once we get our toolbox tailored to how we need to feel, then we can start tweaking things. We can make little changes. And it's just important that we understand, A, this is normal. B, this is my box is going to look a little different than your box, but we can make these changes. And you want to do them slowly too. So like, I don't mean go out and start hitting the weights in the gym 7 days a week. Like you want to start slowly because you want to see what's moving the needle, what's helping you, what's not, and then tweak things. It's not cookie cutter.
Exactly. That, it's not one size fits all. Cause I know the second you said lifting weights, somebody is picturing being in a sweaty gym with a bunch of dudes. Like that sounds like hell. Because I did that once. I got a personal trainer before my wedding, and like the amount of guys like coming up to me and I was just like, I can't, this is so obnoxious. So anyway, but like for me, I have a set of 5-pound weights and 8-pound weights, and they go right underneath my bed, and I can pull them out, do it in the morning before I get my shower, and pop them right under the bed. I'm not even getting sweaty, but it works my arms are a little jiggly these days, but it works. It works in air quotes for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that helps us to regulate things. Like your hormones are regulated by your muscle mass. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is famous for saying that muscle mass is your currency for longevity. It's a non-negotiable to have muscle mass and then maintain it as we age. And yeah, it's totally relative. If you have not lifted weights, you are going to start light because that's going to be lifting heavy for you. But you want to see yourself making changes and progressing over time. And that's how you're training smart, when you can bring in 4 bags of groceries, when you can like put the bike rack on yourself on the car before you take your family on a bike trip. Like those heavier things, when you see that you can do it without help, you're like, I got this, which is a whole other can of worms.
Pickle jar.
Yeah. Yes. It's like the confidence that comes from being strong and strong in mind and body. Right.
Yeah. And let's touch on the mind piece, because I think that is so important. Sometimes more important. Not, I want to say more important, but like you could get the body part right, but if you don't get the mindset shift that goes along with that, you might not enjoy the body part as much, right? Because you're still going to be like nitpicking all the things and stuff. So talk to me about how you help your clients change their mindset.
Well, mind, body, it's so connected. You don't have one without the other. And we start with understanding that at this age, when you're in midlife, you are at a reckoning. If you've got kids, they're getting older. And with that comes older issues, not being able to afford living on their own, perhaps, or struggling to find a job. It's like things that you just you still have a clutch on that. It's still, your kids are independent, but it's still bothering you. You're still thinking about it, ruminating. And then you look at the other end of the spectrum, and there's the aging parents. And my own mom in Arizona, many states away from me in Washington, let me know that she hurt her wrist in April and just went and got an x-ray Monday. We're recording this in June, and it's broken. It's broken. Like, what?
It's so funny how you become the parent, right?
Right. And she said, Heather, you're never going to guess what they told me. Like, I need to be strength training and eating more protein. And I wanted to hide in my hoodie because I was like, never heard that one before, Mom. So like we worry about our aging parents as well. And it's also a time when you might be transitioning in your career. You might be phasing out. You might be wondering what the hell is next for me? Like, where am I going from here? You might be having some guilt and regret over what you didn't do as you were younger. Did you not follow the dream that you thought you were going to do? There's so many things that we fester on. So what I teach is really being mindful that this is a time that, it's not a full stop. This is a time to hit the reset, to really change the gears. And one of the things that I love them to start with is redefining I call them their I am statements. It rolls off the tongue really easy of, I'm so out of shape. I'm not strong enough to do that. I can't go to that gym. I don't belong there. Like they really see themselves in a certain way. And we're all guilty of this, right? Like it'll come out of my mouth and then I'm like, hold on, I'm going to reframe that one. But you rewrite the I am statement. So I am someone who shows up for myself. I am someone who goes to the gym. I'm someone who works out. I'm someone who eats healthy. Like you just keep talking to yourself that way. And when I see people in person, you know, if I'm training clients in person, they know the second it comes out of their mouth that they're like, hold on, I take that back, because they know I'm going to jump on them.
Yep. But that's good because then it retrains. Like the more you get corrected, even, and that's why it's so great to have a coach, because in the beginning, you're not going to see those things. They're going to come out because they're so natural. You might not even catch it, but your coach can catch it. And then you start to pay more attention to it and you catch them more and more and more.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's also a really popular trend, at least in the menopause world. And this goes for, you know, when we say menopause, we're talking about hormone changes from a span of 30s up, right? Like we don't necessarily have to say pre, peri, menopause, post. Like let's just group it in because we're all in this boat together. The mindset stuff really needs to be rewritten as well. So there's many different people in this space who will talk about writing your menopause story. What do you want this second half of your life to be like? What do you want out of it? And you as a life coach too, Karen, like you're talking about this stuff all the time. And I think, again, when we talk about the mind-body connection, if you're coming from more of the mindfulness, you know, with your clients and the people that you speak to, and I'm coming more from the physical, they're still so interconnected that when we're talking to someone, like if someone came to me and they're like, I've gained 15 pounds in freaking menopause, I want this off right now, do it, you know?
Yeah.
Do it. Make it happen.
Sure. Let me get my wand, my magic wand.
It is still like, we got to go into deeper layers. There's a lot going on here and there's a lot to be addressed. This isn't just a stop eating and move more type of situation. This is like, let's start from scratch of rewriting your story. And maybe they're not like a woo-woo person and they're a little more, you know, right-brained, like, nope, just tell me what to do. I just want to do it. They still have to get on board with this needs to change. The approach, the frame of mind needs to change. It's so much more deeper. And that's a beautiful thing. You want this like delicious layered life. You don't want just a follow the instructions.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that, you know, I think one of the things in terms of like rewriting some of this, right, is like not even talking about it like the second half. Like I just want to know what the next couple of years are going to look like for me, because honestly, I'm constantly evolving, right? Like I started teaching myself to swing trade the stock market last summer. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to want to do something with stocks. I don't know. We'll see. I have like a 9.53% return as of my last check, which isn't too bad for a novice here. That's not been doing it very long. I'm trying. It's fun. I really enjoy it. But like, I don't know what's going to be next, you know, but for now, when I'm doing what I love, right? I'm having a podcast, I'm going out speaking, I'm doing my shows and coaching people and all that. And that's great. But I don't know that I want to do this in 10, 20 years. Maybe there'll be something else, or maybe my news thing will take off and I'll get my own show. Like, who knows? But just being open to say like, well, because maybe it feels a little less heavy to just say like, what's the next thing I want to explore? Let's go figure that out.
Yeah. Absolutely. And great point on that. It doesn't have to be write every chapter from here to the end.
Right. Exactly.
Just write the forward.
Off. Yeah. So I'm curious. Yeah, write the forward. Exactly. Okay. You heard it here first. Write the forward. I love that. Such a good way to think about it. Yes. Talk about myths, because I think there's so many myths in women's health and weight loss, and especially after 40, right? And there's just like Instagram influencer after influencer probably telling you to, you know, move more and eat less. But what is like one of those myths that you just want to set straight once and for all?
Can I pick two?
Yes, you can. Thanks for asking.
The first one I would say is metabolism. Most people will say my metabolism's broken. My metabolism doesn't work anymore. My metabolism sucks. You know, that they're blaming it. And yes, your metabolic health does shift. but
Mhm.
that's more like your gut health and your muscle mass. Your metabolism doesn't really slow down, and don't throw anything at me, people.
Okay.
If
Fair.
you're the person listening who's like, nope, mine's really broken. There are people who have metabolic diseases. That's a different story. But when we're looking at midlife with bodies changing, your metabolism doesn't really slow down significantly to make a change until you're in your 60s. I'm so sorry to break that to you. So
Oh, but
there's a
that's kind
huge
of exciting in a way.
there's
It's
it's
like, oh, now
great
we don't have
news.
to blame that.
It's great news. Your metabolism isn't broken. Woohoo! There's other things going on, like I was saying, like your gut health, like your when we're seeing more visceral fat around the midsection, that's what needs to get addressed. Like maybe you're not having enough fiber. Are you getting all the micronutrients you need? How are your macronutrients? Like you there's deep dives you can do for that. But it's not, let's stop blaming the metabolism, right?
Right.
And then
Yes.
the second thing that I would say is you'll hear a lot of women talking about the downsides of hormone changes. What you don't hear that often is women saying, I don't know what you're talking about. I feel fine. I've got nothing. Well, it's interesting too, because to that woman, I would say, hold up. If you're postmenopausal, your period has stopped for a year, you most definitely need to be paying attention to your bone density and your muscle mass, because those things are declining. They really, really, really are. And if you're not paying attention to them, I don't care. Great. Good job for you that you didn't have hot flashes or lose sleep or anything like that. Good for you. Don't tell too many people that, but you still have work to do. You've got a lot of work to do, because the frailty thing is real. We will
Yeah.
become more frail. And what we don't want is to think that we've escaped the whole thing just because we didn't have the common symptoms.
Yep.
You still have to make sure that those two things are sacred and being protected, your bone health and your muscle mass.
Yeah. And is there things that we can do for our bone health, like
Mhm.
in advance? Because I'm in my mid 40s, and I will be honest, I've never thought about my bone health. Like
Mhm.
my parents told me when I was a kid, drink your milk. But outside of that, I don't think I've ever thought about my bone health again.
Yeah, there's things that we can do, and most of them are going to center around resistance training, strength training, like having that specificity, easy for me to say, of the bone stimulating muscle growth around that. So another thing is jump training, and not everybody can jump. I work with people
Yeah.
who have replaced this, that, and the others. And there's still things you can do. Like instead of jumping up and down, you can stand on one leg, so you're getting stability, but you can come up to the ball of the foot and drop, up to the ball of the foot and drop. So you're not pounding joints, but you're still stimulating bone growth. Jump training is a really important thing. You can do it for a couple minutes here and there. That's all it needs.
Yeah. Oh, I love
So
that. We call those little calf raises, or like releves in ballet. So I could
yes,
do several releves
but
while
you want to
I'm
do a
curling my
releve
hair.
with us, like more of a slam down. Like it's
Okay.
got to be, I'll just shake the whole camera while I do that.
Right.
It's got to be like enough of something that it's making some impact. It doesn't have to be
Oh,
feet leaving the ground though
okay.
to count as
That's
jump
cool. I
training.
can do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Easy peasy. See, there you go. Another tip that you can immediately
Yep.
put into your life. Implement it right now.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
All right. I want to talk real quick about your podcast because it's amazing. The Badass Reset Club. I just love the name in and of itself, but I'm curious from your perspective, what does it mean to be a badass at this stage of life?
Mm. It is a feeling. It's truly a feeling. It's this feeling of, if I were left alone, could I run the ship? Everything on the ship, could I take care of it? And the answer might not be yes, but do I have the resources to figure out how to take care of it? So here's an example. Earlier, when I was talking about, can you put a bike rack on? I competed for the last 12 years in triathlon, and every summer was like race after race after race. And I would constantly be moving bike racks to fit on cars and do stuff. And my husband is a firefighter. So when he leaves, he's gone for big chunks of time. So I was like, well, crap. How am I going to get this big honking thing on I don't know how to do this. And then I was like, oh, sister, come on. So I got out my Mr. Google and I looked up instructions, YouTube, like figure the damn thing out. And then when I put that thing on, I literally roared. I roared.
Yes.
I out loud was like, I freaking did that. And it was like that moment on, I knew that I could handle things. That is a feeling. When you get that feeling of I've got this, I really have this. And then there's this confidence that just comes with it. So feeling badass to me is an absolute feeling of, yes, I love the people in my life, but I can handle this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to call upon someone else. And then the reset part of it is really, we all just need to hit the reset in some fashion almost daily. And having a community, a club to do it in is a good place.
Wow. Daily.
Sometimes, yes.
I didn't think you were going to say that. That shocked me a little.
Sometimes you need to, in whatever capacity. So it might be more of a physical thing. It might be working on your hormones. Mm-hmm. It might be your mindset. Yeah. Every day you got, I have to hit the reset in some ways. So sometimes it's the way that I'm talking to myself. Sometimes it's just looking at my habits and is there something that I need to tweak? Is there something I need to change? Am I out of balance somewhere? Do I need to hit the reset on that and just pull back, take a break from something?
Oh, wow. That's so like freeing though. The fact that you can reset on a daily basis is like,
why the hell not?
Right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I like it.
Yeah. And I think we should feel like we've got control to do that whenever we need to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And again, it's like that waiting for permission, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're not waiting for permission. If you need to hit the reset button in the middle of the day, damn it, hit the reset button. Go for it.
Yes.
No one's going to stop you.
No. And they might appreciate it if you do.
Ooh.
You know?
Yeah.
We might be more beneficial to other people when we're fully optimizing ourselves.
Oh, yeah. That's so good.
Yeah.
All right, girl, I could talk to you all day, but I know we need to wrap things up. So time for my final question. If you could say one thing to the woman listening who knows she wants to reinvent, but doesn't know how to get started, what would you say?
Let's see. I think, we were talking a little bit about it earlier of don't try to throw everything into that toolbox. I mean, you don't have to have it all figured out, right? You want to start with like choosing one small thing that aligns with the woman that you want to become, with the woman that you already are. And then identity is going to follow action. So we all know that action's so important. You don't have to reinvent yourself every day. Just choose one little thing, remember who you are, line that stuff up. And it's one bold step at a time, really.
Yeah. And sometimes those steps are so small, but it's just a matter of taking them and keep moving forward and you're going to get there, right? Like before you know it, you're going to look up and be like, oh my gosh, I am that woman that was really inside me the whole time, but I was just not allowing to come out.
Yep.
Yeah. So beautifully said.
The badass.
Thank you so much. Yes, the badass within, right? And then we can really truly love our skin figuratively and physically, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Thank you for your wisdom today. Always such a pleasure to talk with you. If people want to learn more or come work with you, how do they find you?
HeatherYanceyFitness.com is my website. You can get a link to everything in there. And this has been a total pleasure. Thank you, Karen.
Oh, you're so welcome. Everybody, go give her a follow, hit her up, get your body and your mind right, and you're going to be feeling better in your skin in no time. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're inspired to take action by committing to one of the tips or strategies we talked about in today's episode. If you want more accountability and support, I've got your back. Book a complimentary Empowered Exit Strategy call today. Visit KarenFreeland.com to learn more and book your 45-minute session. Until next time, stay fabulous.